Because video marketing is so prevalent today and it's just almost everywhere, in this video, let's talk about the most common job interview questions you might face when talking about specifically marketing with video. And one of the most common questions you may get is, what kind of content is best for each stage in the sales funnel? And your answer might be something along the lines of, if you just want to build awareness, meaning attract first-time viewers, increase your reach, very often short and catchy videos are the answer. So if people are asking you, well, should I do long-form videos on YouTube, but what about shorts? Shorts maybe don't make that much money, blah, 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 blah. That's the answer, is that if you want to get more reach, shorts are a great answer, because very often, as people watch your shorts, they may move on to your longer form videos. Now, if people are in the consideration phase, they're thinking about your product, then creating tutorials or explainer videos is great, because that's what people need. They need more information. And of course, if people are ready to buy, so you want to increase conversion rate, you want to build demos and testimonials and customer success stories so that potential clients can see, oh, this works, and there are real people using this with success. And even if you don't have a direct answer like this, breaking things down like that and being fluent in when to use short form, long form, that's already a great way to answer that question. Now, another question you may be asked is, how do you measure performance? With video, it depends on the platform. Measuring YouTube performance has to do with click-through rate, which you have, but in a very, very, very different format on a platform like TikTok or Instagram. So it's kind of apples and oranges, but generally speaking on YouTube, it's click-through rate, in-video engagement, meaning how much of the video is consumed, and things like eventual clicks, conversions if you have that on a particular video platform. But generally speaking, across video platforms, it's engagement within video, how much of the video is consumed and where the drop-offs in engagement are, because that's what you want to address in your future videos. And of course, you want to track whether people are choosing your videos over others. So on YouTube, that's click-through rate, but on different platforms, it's a different rate that measures the same thing, but you want people to choose your videos and stay on them longer. If you accomplish that, you'll gain success. Now, another question that may catch you off guard is planning a storyboard. And you might say, storyboard? I just wing it. I just film whatever I feel like. Yeah, but you can't really say that in a job interview. So you want to talk about things like defining the message, outlining scenes of the video, mapping visuals to dialogue, plan transitions in the video, calls to action, and anything else that comes up in the video. So the planning, right? Because you can't just wing it. It seems like people just get in front of a camera and just blah, 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 talk, but they don't. Successful videos take a lot of planning and storyboarding, and these are the things that are involved in storyboarding and video planning. Storyboarding may throw you off as a term because a lot of people don't even use that term, but video planning has these elements that you don't want to forget. Now, you may also be asked a question about mobile optimization. How do you optimize for different screen sizes? This is related to accessibility. Not everyone can read every font. Some people have some disabilities. So some general things companies do is using relatively large text, especially with the idea in mind that some people are reading on their phones. And because they're on the phone, the pacing has to be faster. There has to be minimal screen clutter. And of course, you want to be able to test your videos, whether it's viewable, meaning major chunks of the picture aren't missing, in vertical and horizontal formats. Because very often we just test it on wherever we filmed it or edited it and don't test on mobile. So you just want to make sure you test on both. Now, another very interesting question that might come up on such a job interview is, how do you create an effective hook that gets people watching? And some answers may be, you might want to start with a highlight from the video, or you might want to start with a surprising fact or a bold, evocative statement, because very often what gets engagement on social media is evoking some emotion. Bland content doesn't really work. So you might have some visual surprise, even shock. Not too much, obviously, you don't want to shock your audience, but you want to have some kind of a bold statement or action, or even maybe visual effect that interests your viewer. Also, you may say things like, at the end of the video, I'll reveal something, or you might have a listicle like top 10 best recipes. And so people end up watching like, okay, maybe the first 9 are boring and not useful, but maybe the 10th one is useful. So they watch until the end then. So listicles are often a great way to make people watch longer. Now, another question you may get is, how do you choose short form video content versus long form versus can you edit one video to have both short and long form content? And of course, it depends on the platform and what users expect. And this is very tied to an earlier question, like short form is for building awareness or for teasers, and long form is for deep education and deep engagement when people are ready. Now, the next question is also very tied to a previous one. What are the metrics that show resonance, meaning that your audience actually likes what you're posting, which is different from just general video engagement, but it's similar. So high retention rates, tracking if people are sharing or saving the video. If people are sharing, that means it really resonated with them. Then again, the watch through rate, and of course, positive comments. But sometimes even negative comments or controversial comments are also a good thing, because that means people are interested. What you don't want is no comments, like people just ignore it because it's bland. Now, another thing you might be asked about is, how do you repurpose content? Repurposing content on social media is very interesting because you can go in so many directions. You can make a video, a long form video, chop that up into a lot of short form videos, but the long form video can be transcribed into a blog post. The audio can be taken and made into a podcast. Then the short form videos can be made into reels, stories, or even ads if you run ads. So one piece of long form video can suddenly give you a blog, can give you a podcast, can give you many other pieces of content that your team can then repost everywhere. Now, when it comes to video, you also have a chance to impress with your knowledge of video-based and related tools, because there are so many tools out there and many people don't know all of them. So if you know about Final Cut, CapCut, Descript, Vimeo Analytics, Wistia, different editing tools or different AI tools that are seemingly popping up every day when it comes to video, that may really impress your job interviewer, because very often they don't know all the tools. And if you can teach them something, all the better. And of course, number 10, successful campaign example that you have run. I often talk about having something that you've done, because theory is one thing, but this is a field of doing. Because you might learn something in theory, but then realize in practice, so many of the details are just different. So definitely explore and experiment with video on your own, on different social media platforms, on YouTube, of different content lengths, short form, long form, and that will make your answer to this question much better.